How you doing, tweeps? This is Stanford Smith with Pushing Social, and I'm just going to do a quick video on how I set up my system to take advantage and participate in BlogChat that happens every Sunday night at 9 o'clock Eastern. Now, I see a lot of people when they first attend BlogChat for the first time, they feel like they're drowning. There's a lot of information, the conversation goes very quickly, and I think that hurts people's experience if they don't if they haven't set up their system in such a way that they can really take advantage of the conversation and even participate. So I'm going to show you how I do it. So the very first thing I do is I go to a site called tweetgrid, and tweetgrid, which is at this tweetgrid.com, allows you to set up your own custom window for reviewing Twitter updates. So what I do is I set up a 1 by 3 window here. In the 1 by 3 window, the first one I set up is actually the hashtag for BlogChat. Okay, you hit search. And what this does is that it pulls up the conversation, all the tweets that have BlogChat as a hashtag. Now the cool thing about TweetGrid is that you're actually able to go into settings here and set your refresh rate. And you can set that refresh rate for anything from 0 seconds, which gives you a real-time feed, and you can pump that up to 20 seconds if you like. What this means is that it'll go out and pull from Twitter all the tweets that have the hashtag BlogChat every 20 seconds. I usually set this at 10 seconds. It just depends upon the flow of the conversation. It was very fast paced and I put in more time for the refresh. If it's a little bit slower, which is hardly ever the case on BlogChat, then you can dial that back to under 10 seconds. But 10 seconds is a great starting point. So we'll go ahead and set that. By the way, the reason why I use TweetGrid is because TweetDeck, which is my main Twitter client, refreshes at a slower rate. And what happens is that if TweetDeck gets overloaded or the API gets overloaded for any reason, you can fall behind in the conversation because it just takes TweetDeck too long to update. So that's the reason why I use TweetGrid, because it gives me those instantaneous updates. The second thing I like to do is I set up my second column to be able to track whatever the speaker is for that night. So in this case, it'll be Chris Brogan. So I'll go ahead and put in his username so I can keep up with everything that Chris Brogan will be saying during the tweet chat. The third one I set up is for good old Mac Collier. Throughout the chat, he always has some great things to say. He usually makes sure that everyone is up to speed on whatever the question is or the topic is. So I put him in there as well so I can keep an eye on what's going on there. Now what you have on your screen right now is my optimal setup for keeping track of what's going on in BlogChat. Now you can add a separate window, and I usually do this just to keep track of anybody who mentions me during the BlogChat, as well as to keep track of any new followers that come in during the course of the chat. So how I do that is I actually do handle that from TweetDeck. Now you can set up TweetGrid to be able to handle that as well, give you a notice of all your new followers. But I like the interface of TweetDeck, and I tend to focus on that and use this interface for keeping up with my new followers as well as people who mention. Now if you haven't used TweetDeck, it's for free, it's very easy to use, and to set up your columns to keep track of those two areas, I usually just go ahead, you hit your plus key, and under core here it'll give you some quick options that you can use. In this case we'll use mentions, and this will roll up anybody who has mentioned you during the session. And that's really great because you're able to go ahead and reply to them right during the session and get a dialogue going there. And the second thing is you can go ahead and set up your new followers. Now I like to keep track of new followers because I like to reach out to them as quickly as possible, even during the chat, because I want to connect with them, and that's really cool, and make sure that I stay on their radar screen. And it's just a great way of taking advantage of a lot of the followers that will start following you because you are participating in BlogChat. So that's a quick and dirty video on how I set up my screens to take advantage of BlogChat. Go ahead and leave me any questions you may have in the comments area below the video, and I can't wait to meet you and during the blog chat tomorrow.